Hello, dieters. My name is Jenny, and I am on the hCG diet. And I'm doing this log to update you on what it's like to go day by day. Hopefully, you can just follow along day by day as well. Well, I guess if you do that from the beginning, this is going to mess everything up because I think I'm doing 5 days today, all in one. So I apologize for that. You might just have to pause and rewatch other videos or other people's videos or something in the meantime. So, what I'm doing today is recouping the past 5 days. Now, again, disclaimer: I'm not a medical professional. I'm just vlogging. Consult your doctor. Yada yada. You know the drill. All right. So here's what happened. The next 5 days look like this from the last time I was here. Now, mind you, remember the last vlog I had, just to let you know, the days leading up to this day, I had minus 0.8 pounds, minus 0.9 pounds, minus 1.2 pounds, minus 1.1 pounds. So I had 4 days of solid, I'm doing really well, I'm back on track. That's after a week of kind of slowly catching back up after I had a cheat day. Don't do a cheat day, it's just not worth it. I didn't intentionally do it, but it happened anyway. That's a separate video. So I had 4 days. We're on track. Everything's going well. And then I lost zero point 0.3. Okay. I had 4 great days. You can't expect to do that every single day. Then I lost 0.1. Then I gained 0.2. Then I lost 0.3. Then I gained 0.5. So over the 5 days after that great weight loss period, I demonstrated a 0.1 gain, a net 0.1 gain for a 5 day period of time. Not ideal. Not ideal. So, did I cheat again? No. That's the most devastating part about it. But it was the time of the month, the dreaded Tom. So, I had forgotten when I started this diet that one of the things I did the original time, and one of the things you're supposed to do in general, is start the diet as soon as you are done with your time of the month, or we will call it Tom, as most people do in the vlogs and online when they refer to this period. So during Tom, well, let me backtrack. You're not supposed to start until you complete Tom, because obviously the time of the month is a very hormonal period of time. These hCG drops or injections are hormonally based. So naturally, as everything's going crazy in your system and then you enter something else, this is not going to be the ideal situation. So to keep everything copacetic and even, you should start as soon as you finish with your period. And if you do a 21-day cycle of drops, or 23 days if you add the 2 loading days, then you're good to go and you don't have anything to worry about because you will be completed before the next Tom arrives. I didn't do that. I forgot. I forgot. Although I was quite a ways in here when I was doing it. Now, Tom is very irregular for me, so it could have been another 4 weeks. It could have been 2 weeks. It could have been, like everything is just kind of willy-nilly here and there. So that is probably a big part of the reason why I didn't think of it, was because it's so inconsistent that I just don't think of it that often. It's like, oh, right, Tom. And then it could be 6 weeks, 7 weeks, and then, oh, Tom again. So I guess part of me just wanted to get on the diet, so I may, even if I was cognizant of it, just gone ahead and started it anyway. But that being said, as I was on it, I was really slowing down in my weight loss. And then I remembered, and I went back online, I did some research, and I remember when Tom is around, you are not supposed to continue taking hCG. I don't know that there was a huge detrimental problem with both, but it is in the original protocol with Dr. Simmons that during the heavy cycle days, anyway, for about 3 to 4 days, you should not be taking the drops. And I was throughout this. So I was kind of throwing everything off for a little bit. And then at the very end, on the last day, I didn't take the drops. The second to the last day, I didn't take the drops. So I didn't take the drops for that night and the next morning. So no drops, like starting in the afternoon. So almost 24 hours. And let me tell you, by the next morning, I was experiencing hunger pains, something I hadn't on this entire diet. And I'm eating exactly the same food as I always did before. The drops, as they started going out of my system, Tom was not compensating for that. I needed to go back onto the drops. So I went back onto the drops, but of course we're going to slowly start to build back up again. And the result the day after that was the half-pound gain, the 0.5 gain. So I think I probably, for me, since it was near the end, I should have just stayed on it because the heaviest days were over and we were coming to the end, and that's when you're supposed to start taking it again. Again, if you need to take it or not based on if you're hungry. It will take away all hunger cravings if you are on the right dosage of hCG. So it was a 5-day kind of experimental period for me, no pun intended, of eating, taking the drops, and dealing with Tom at the same time. In general, this is something else to consider. Many women during either ovulation or while on Tom will have a temporary weight gain. They will have water retention that occurs during this period of time, and so the weight gain will occur. And it's different for everybody. Some people it's just during ovulation, some people it's just during Tom, some people don't experience it at all, and some people have the whole gamut, and it just throws everything off. So when we're measuring 0.3, 0.4, 0.2 pounds, certainly water retention is going to be a factor and come into play with all of this. Bloating. If you're somebody who bloats, then you have water retention. And additionally, frequently women just have what's considered a hormonal gain, just relating to the hormones. This is a hormone-based diet, so it's going to affect the overall balance of how things are going and how your body is burning foods and how the hormones are all being balanced in your system. I'm going to look down because I did make notes for myself, so I apologize if I down too much when I'm doing these videos. All right, so because it is frequently hormonally based, Dr. Simeon specifically mentioned that an apple day is not recommended. There's other reasons for the temporary weight gain during this period of time. I'm sorry, I'm saying so much. In addition to that, during Tom, it is important that you continue to have your protein. So to go 24 hours without having protein during Tom is just not ideal. It's not good for you. So maintain the diet with the vegetables and the protein indeed. And don't do the apple day. Okay. There was research that if you stay on the drops during Tom, that you will have longer periods of Tom. You will have longer periods, period. So they will last longer, and so that is one of the reasons to decrease hCG. In addition, in general, hCG just isn't working like it normally is because during Tom, your body is producing some extra progesterone, and specifically, it's called like what is it? Lutazide. zinging or something like that. Anyway, this hormone, however you were to pronounce it with a long word that began with an L, overpowers the hCG and it takes over. So there's not a purpose behind taking the hCG. You should be able to go those couple days and be okay without feeling any hunger. In my opinion, if you start to feel hunger, then start in on the drops. Maybe not the full dosage that you did before, but certainly at the point that you feel hunger, if it's not time to eat and you shouldn't be eating any food, I would say go ahead and take a small dosage of the drops and see if 15-20 minutes later that has subsided and you're no longer hungry, because you're not supposed to be hungry on the diet. You're not. All right. So if I take all that information and I synthesize it, in my brain, that's saying that you're basically not during this period of time doing much fat loss. Your body's kind of using what it has. The hormones are kind of all in flux. Um, and it's just it's just not a great period of time, you know. Don't expect any weight loss during this period. Possibly expect a weight gain. The weight gain is supposed to balance back out at the end and then come back off again. We'll see. I have been 2 days off of it, and there's no like major. Oh, you gained 2 pounds or you lost 2 pounds today. So it's probably a slow adjusting, but it was a 5 day period of time. And shockingly, the point 0.5 gain was at the very end. But that happened also at the time when I just thought, oh, I should go off the drops. And then right as I did, Tom ended. So I shouldn't have been off of them. And then I was hungry. So I went back on them. And, I just think I kind of messed up my system a little bit. So my word of advice to you is wait. Start the day after Tom when you're finished, or you're getting to some very light days. Go ahead and start because you're going to be loading for 2 days anyway. So go ahead and start the drops, do your loading, get the hCG built up in your system. By then, the other Tom hormones should be gone because you would be done with it in 2 more days later, and you're ready to just jump in full force on the diet. I guess this works for me okay because I am going to go longer than 21 days. I think I'm going to do 28 days on this diet. And I know I am. I shouldn't say I think. I know I am. And the reason I am is because I screwed this up too. So I had an entire week on the diet that was kind of out the window due to one lousy chicken wrap that threw me in a loop. Don't cheat. And now I have another 5 days of no weight loss. So I have 15 days out of where I am right now at day 23 that really didn't lose any weight. This is the look of discouragement. And I have nobody but myself to blame for all of this. If I would have started the day after Tom, I would have taken care of that problem. If I wouldn't have had a cheat day, I would have taken care of that problem. So use this information to learn and apply to yourself. Be dedicated, be diligent. How lovely would it have been if I would have had 15 days of even 0.1 weight loss as opposed to 15 days ending up at the end at 0 or maybe even a gain of 0.1. So yeah, there we go. So those were days 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22 for you. And all the information you need to know about this diet and Tom. If you have any questions, put them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. Again, I'm not a physician, and they would be able to answer specifics like this in more detail. Although, interestingly, after I lost all the weight, I went to my OBGYN about, I don't know, 4 or 5 months later. And, or no, yeah. It was after. Because I remember being excited to get on the scale there because normally I'm devastated by it. And I only go about every other year to her. So it had been a while since I'd been there, and I was happy to see the scale going down. And I talked to her about this, and she wasn't that familiar with the hCG diet. She really wasn't. But she said to me that it didn't sound any different than some of the Mayo Clinic diets and some of the other really restrictive calorie, low carb diets that are out there. And that if it worked for me, that's fine. And she didn't find anything harmful in taking the hCG. Um, to just monitor myself and make sure that I'm feeling good and I have energy and all that stuff. And I didn't really the first time, but I do this time. So I keep mentioning that before. I feel great, feel wonderful, feel like I could get back on the treadmill again today and go out and run errands and do all that kind of stuff. So um, that's also the trade-off for me personally. Other people, they can do the 500 calorie strict diet with just low lean meats and the approved vegetables, and they can be fine on it. So that just depends on you and your body. Everybody's different, right? We are. All right, that's all the information for today. Tomorrow we're caught up. And oh, almost. Yeah, we'll be caught up because I'll do days 23 and 24 for you tomorrow and see what happened after my 5 days of a .1 weight gain. At that point, I will be officially 3 days post Tom, and so everything should be re regulated and things should be getting back on track. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if Jenny's actually going to do an apple day at the end of this because I certainly wouldn't do the apple day on Tom because that's not recommended at all. But afterwards, if things aren't coming back, I might just do one and see if I can kickstart myself back into more significant weight loss since I am getting to the upper end of, I'm on my last week really because I've hit, well, I said I'm going to do more than 21 days. I'm past 21 days. I'm past 23. Well, 23 is the official day. So today would be the day that I would end the diet normally, the 23 days. And if I did, well, we'll talk about that tomorrow because we haven't talked about days 23 yet. At day 23, at day 23, at day 22, I am at 9.3 pounds lost, which, is good. Not great, but good. Stay with me. I've got one more week where I'm going to try to kick the butt of this weight loss and break through. That being said, this is around the time a lot of people have plateaus too. Right around that 3 week mark, people start to plateau and then they end the diet and then they kind of give up. So I have read many of people who strongly recommend not quitting at 23 days and continuing on because the next week or two is when they see a jump in things and that getting going again. So it's normal with every diet that if your body's consistently losing, that your body's going to hit a plateau at one point because your body's just kind of saying, are we okay? Is everything all right? God made our bodies amazing, quite frankly, and it doesn't want you to keep losing because eventually you're going to wither away to nothing. So our bodies, after they continue to lose at a steady pace, are going to put on the brakes. And that's a whole separate video I was going to talk about. I'm going to run out of topics if I keep talking about these things. So I'm not that discouraged. I'm going to keep going. I got one more week to go, and I'll keep you up to date tomorrow, days 23 and 24. Take care out there. Subscribe and like, and let me know how your journey's going. Let me know if you want me to follow you along your journey. I enjoy watching other people do their journeys too. So, okay, that's all. You take care. Talk to you soon.